I truly, from the bottom of my heart, do not feel like making this video because this video can't happen without talking about the refs again. And I'm so sick of La Liga. I'm so sick of La Liga. And I'm not saying this in defense to Real Madrid. I'm going to explain everything to you in the sense, because it's just awful refereeing. I don't think corruption. I don't think, I just think it's bad refereeing. And I want to break it down to you. I'm sick and tired of going on social media and constantly seeing people have to talk about the referees, because the referees in La Liga over the last month have been absolutely horrendous. And it's made for a very interesting La Liga now, for sure. La Liga's in a great place. I think Real Madrid and Barca are now tied on points because Barcelona just won their game today. We're going to talk about the refs, and then we're going to talk about the performance of Barcelona, because I don't think it was a great performance in Barcelona. I think it was a great Pedri performance. I think it was another performance for Lamine Yamal where he left a lot on the table. We'll jump into all that, but let's break down the game the way we need to talk about it. Now, before I say what I'm going to say, I want you to know that it's bad refereeing. I'm going to start in the 94th minute. Let's skip the real controversial stuff. The referee calls a foul against Torres. I believe it was against Torres, and also gives him a yellow card. I think it's Torres. Maybe it's not Torres, but a Barca player receives a yellow card and also a foul where the team now pops up and has a chance to maybe tie the game against Barcelona. The reason I bring this one up is because the ref is saying that the Barca player threw an elbow and deserved a yellow card. The Barca player is just standing, and the opposite team goes into the Barca player, runs his face into the Barca player's elbow, and the Barca player receives a yellow card for standing still. The Barca player receives a yellow card for standing still, and the opponent goes into his elbow, and the Barca player receives a yellow card. This, to me, is terrible refereeing. We're going to go to the first penalty for Barcelona. 1,000% a penalty. It's a penalty. I don't know why I'm going on social media and people are talking about whether it's a penalty or not. It's a penalty. It's a penalty. The ball gets whipped in. The goalkeeper deals with the ball, by the way. The ball was no threat. The goalkeeper had it covered. The defender completely wraps his arm around the Barca player and does a penalty. It's a penalty. There's no argument. It's a penalty. Barcelona gets the penalty. They award the penalty after going to VAR. Don't know how the ref didn't see it the first time. They go to VAR. They get the penalty. They score the penalty. Lewandowski bags it in 1-0. It's the only goal of the game. The problem is, this is the problem that I have with stupid La Liga. And this is again, bro, is a problem. It's a penalty for Barcelona. The same thing happens in Barcelona's box. Kubasi completely grabs the other team's player, completely grabs him, pulling his shirt, has an arm around him. The same exact thing that happened to Barca for the penalty happens in Barca's box, and the referee does not call a penalty. The referee did not call the game the same for both teams. There is no Barca fan in the world that is going to watch the one for them and the one against them and say they are different. Because if you do, you are being completely biased and you're not seeing football for what it is. After I say all that, I tell you how the referee also missed a call by giving a Barca player a yellow card for an elbow he doesn't throw. A BS elbow that never gets thrown. So I'm not saying this to defend Real Madrid. I'm not saying this to go against Barcelona and say there's some type of corruption. There's not. It's absolutely horrendous La Liga referees that don't know how to be consistent. If you're going to call the penalty for Barca for grabbing and holding, you need to call the penalty against Barcelona for grabbing and holding. It's just consistency. That's what football's all about. And the older I get, the more I see that this VAR did nothing for the game. People keep saying VAR is going to save the game. It's going to make the controversial calls better. It does not. It's worse, dude, because now we see the blatant mistakes over and over and then not fix the blatant mistakes. And I think to myself, how blind do you have to be and where do you get these referees from? Because it's not consistent. It is zero consistency. Period. It's not consistent, bro. And this game is the absolute 1,000,000% like perfect example of La Liga just not being consistent. And it needs to be consistent for Barca, for Madrid, for Atletico Madrid, for everyone. It needs to be consistent. And you know what makes me so mad and why I'm so passionate about this? Because this dumb stuff happens in Portugal and it's been happening for years. In Portugal, it's the exact same thing. Sometimes Benfica gets helped, other teams get robbed. Sometimes Porto gets helped, other teams get robbed. Sometimes Sporting gets helped, other teams get robbed. But guess what? It's always the big three. It's always the big three that are either getting helped or you get what it's always them. So I feel for the smaller teams. I'm gonna be. You know how many times I've seen Benfica get helped? You know how many times I've seen Porto get helped? You know how many times I've seen Sporting get helped? I've seen it. I've seen it with my own eyes. I'm a Benfica fan, but I can come to you and tell you I've seen Benfica get helped. When I talk to my cousin's a Sporting fan, I tell him all the time after Benfica, man, that's not a penalty, pa. They gave us a penalty. It's not a penalty, pa. I tell them all the time it's not a penalty because I'm real with it. You know what I'm saying? In my deep down inside, I'm like, hey, we still got the 3 points, but I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna tell you how it is, and what I'm telling you right now is that's a penalty for Barcelona, but it's also a penalty against Barcelona because you have to call the game the same for both teams, no matter the size of the team. Now let's get to football because unfortunately we have to talk about dumb stuff every single game before we could talk about football. This was not a good performance from Barcelona. And it was not a good performance from Barcelona because Rafinha today couldn't finish and Lamine Yamal needs to work on his finishing. Lamine Yamal is, in my opinion, the youngest player in football with the most talent. It just is what it is, okay? When you talk about young players, and I'm taking Mbappe out of this because he's aging up now. When you take the young players out there, bro, my boy Lamine Yamal has the most talent, and I think has the highest ceiling. I think this guy can be the biggest superstar in world football if his trajectory keeps going up. This guy's going to be wild. But his finishing is something that needs to be worked on. His finishing needs to be worked on. His first touch, his ability to travella, his ability to open up the game, and the vision he has at such a young age. Even sometimes when he gets his finishing right, the goals he scores are magical. But man, he leaves a lot of goals on the table. He leaves a lot of goals on the table. And I'm going to tell you this like this. The world needs to get ready. All right, here we go again. Madrid don't need to get ready. The world needs to get ready because when Lamine Yamal gets his finishing right, and he will, when Lamine Yamal gets that finishing down, remember, Vinny couldn't finish his dinner to save his life, pretty much his first season at Madrid. He could not score a goal. Worked on it, got it right, turned into the player he is. When Lamine Yamal gets his finishing right, this kid is going to be the biggest problem in world football. I believe that. I'm saying that from the bottom of my heart. I think he's going to be the biggest problem, not Mbappe, not anybody else. I think Lamine Yamal will be the biggest problem in football if he gets his finishing down because everything else about him is magical. And once he gets that finishing down, bro, he's going to be the complete football that absolutely takes over Europe. That's my honest opinion. But right now, his finishing is costing Barca, putting games away. Rafinha had chances today too that he kind of slipped up, but this was all around not a great performance from Barcelona. Who had a great performance? Pedri. This kid is, when he's on the field, bro, when Pedri's on the field, it's magic. The way he controls the midfield, the way he opens up games, it's a shame that Barca doesn't take more of their chances to put a game like this one away, and it could have cost them, lads, because the one thing I think of, I don't think about all of Barcelona's misses. Around the 90th minute, there's a breakaway. Barca's called out. It's like 3-on-2. A ball gets whipped into the box, and it's a free header. And Barcelona got so lucky that the player hit the header wrong because he's a one-on-one header, bro. The ball could have been played on the floor. He was so open. It's such a massive breakdown for Barcelona's defense at the end of that game that realistically, if I'm being honest with y'all, that chance was such a good chance that the game should have ended 1-1. Right? Because I think it was minutes before that or maybe a minute or two after that, Barcelona had a breakaway where it was like 3-on-2 and they kept tripping over the ball. They kept like, well, pass it into the back of someone's shins. Pedri started like a counterattack, and they were just stumbling over the ball. They didn't put this game away. And because they didn't put this game away, they probably should have walked out of there 1-1, because at the end of that game, like I said, ball gets whipped in. He actually heads, he just can't get it on target. If that ball comes in on the floor, comes in a little bit lower, this game's probably 1-1, and Barcelona would have dropped points. I think they were at home, right? But Barcelona would probably drop points at home. Sorry, I'm always confused because Barcelona Stadium, we need the real stadium, bro. We need the real stadium back. I've been saying this for since they've been playing in away from the beautiful stadium. Bro, it just doesn't feel like Barca games. We need the stadium back ASAP, man. I even hit my boy today like, yo, when's the stadium ready? We need this stadium, bro. Like, it needs to feel like Barca games again. But anyways, it's a good result for Barcelona. Not everyone's going to be. This right here is the championship type of wins. These are the games that win you chance. It's not about how bad you beat Real Madrid. It's not if you beat Atletico Madrid. It's winning these games when you're not playing great, when it's like one of those dig down deep games and you get it done. And they got it done. They got the win. That's all that matters. Nothing else matters. But at the end of the day, they got to clean up their finishing. And they got to help Lamine Yamal get better at finishing. And once Barcelona does this, like I said, man, with Pedri, with Lamine Yamal, with Kubasi, Barcelona's in good hands, man. They're in good hands for the future. I just want to see La Liga clean up their refs because, again, if you're a Barca fan, I'm not attacking your club in any way, shape, or form, but let's just be real with each other. Because I'm real. I'm real, dude. If you ask me if a controversial thing comes in with Benfica, I'll tell you, bro. Let's be real. If the one for, I think Martinez was the one who got the penalty for Barca. I think he's the one who gets pulled down. If Martinez, I think it was him, if that's a penalty, then the one against Kubasi is a penalty. They're both grabbing. They're both holding. You got to be consistent as a La Liga ref. And giving a yellow for that elbow? Which elbow? For him living his life? Now you're getting yellow cards for living your life? My man was just standing. Dude put his head into the elbow and the yellow. Come on, man. Like, what are we doing, La Liga? What are we doing? Get it out, sort it out. No, we want to watch football. We don't want to talk about controversy all the time. Thank you all for watching. Barca fans, don't be mad at me. I'm not coming at you. Listen, I know Real Madrid gets helped. I know Barca gets help. I know Atletico Madrid gets help. I know Benfica gets helped a lot. I know Porto gets help. Sporting gets help. Everyone gets help. It's referees making mistakes. It looks like corruption, but in my opinion, it's just absolute terrible refereeing. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Love you guys.